Hello guys, my name is Saket and welcome back to my channel Eximitra. Guys, today I have come up with the second part of my import procedure video series. In the first part, we have seen the very basic thing that what is the import, what is the type of bill of entry, and what is the implication of not filing bill of entry, or what is the implication of not paying custom duty, or what are the type of bill of entry, the bond bill of entry, what is the home consumption bill of entry, etc. Guys, now in this part we will move further and we'll try to understand that how a bill of entry is filed, how the valuation is being done, how the classification is done, and how the custom duty is calculated. So guys, let's move to my video. Before moving to the video, I would like to request you to subscribe my channel so that you never miss my upcoming video. Now guys, let's start.
Friends, bill of entry is a mandatory declaration to be made by every importer which is filed electronically and assigned a unique number by EDI system. EDI system is the electronic data interchange system. It is an online system of the custom through which the bill of entry is filed and processed. Bill of entry shall be deemed to file only when this unique number is generated. Means that unique number is the proof that you have filed the bill of entry. Now, what are the documents required to file a bill of entry? So these are the following documents which are required to file a bill of entry. The signed invoice, we need packing list, we need bill of lading or airway bill, we need the license if we are availing any concessional duty, we need the insurance document, we need the test report in cases where duty is dependent on the particular test. Mainly it is required in the metals where the duty depends on the content of particular type of element in that metal. And next is last is certificate of origin. If the importer is availing the preferential duty from any country, then the country of origin is required. Suppose there is a preferential duty agreement between the India and South Korea. So if goods are coming from the South Korea and you want to avail that preferential duty, then you have to produce the certificate of origin so that Indian custom may know that goods has been originated and exported from Korea only and not any other country. Friends, it may be noted that in preferential trade agreement, the tariffs are not necessarily eliminated. They are only lower. Means the goods which are imported at the rate of suppose 10% from the US, they could be imported at the lower rate, say 7.5 or 5%. Means tariffs are not eliminated but only lowered. Now let's move on the content of bill of entry. What are the content in a bill of entry? So bill of entry has the detail of importer, who is importing the good, who is the exporter of good. One important content is the AD code. AD code is the authorized dealer code of the bank. It is the bank through which the importer makes payment to the exporter. Without AD code, no bill of entry can be filed now. And in the details of importer, GSTN number is also mandatory. Without GSTN, bill of entry number cannot be generated or bill of entry cannot be filed. Next detail is it has the name of port of import. It has the description of good. It has the value of good. Value of good we can take from the invoice. Description we can take from the invoice. The classification of good. This part has to be done by importer or his authorized custom house agent. The classification of goods decides the duty rates on the good, means how much duty will be attracted. It totally depends on the classification of goods. And next is the rate and value of import duty payable. Guys, the rate and the value calculation of the import duty is the main purpose of bill of entry. Means a bill of entry tells how much duty is to be paid to customs. Guys, the valuation is the most important aspect of a bill of entry. The whole purpose of bill of entry is to calculate the custom duty, and custom duty cannot be calculated unless until and unless the valuation is done. For the valuation of goods, the custom has defined some rules. So we are going to discuss here the only basic rule, that the value of goods shall be the transactional value. Transactional value means the value payable or has already been paid by importer to exporter, provided that the importer and the exporter are not related party and the price is the sole consideration. Means when the importer and exporter are independent and price is the only sole consideration, the transactional value shall be the value of goods. Guys, the custom duty of any product of any imported item is calculated on the assessable value, that is the equivalent to CIF value. CIF means cost plus insurance plus freight. Now what is the cost of good? In cost of good, there are many factors included. In cost of good, the value of goods, the cost of packing and forwarding, the cost of commissioning and brokerage is to be added. Many importer forget to add these cost of packing and forwarding or commissioning and brokerage, but it is wrong. For valuation purpose, the cost of good is inclusive of the value of goods, the cost of packing and forwarding, and the commissioning and brokerage charges. Then it will be treated as C. Then in C we will add insurance and the freight, then it comes out to be CIF, that is called assessable value, and any duty is loaded on this assessable value only. Guys, the import duty on all goods are not charged uniformly. The goods are grouped in similar category like metals, textile, machinery, etc. In India, the goods has been categorized into the 21 sections and 98 chapters. Total there are 98 chapters in which the various goods has been classified. For a uniform interpretation of the classification across the globe, the World Custom Organization WCO has developed a system that is called Harmonized System Code. India has already adopted this code, and all the classification in Indian Bill of Entry is done in line with this HS code. Guys, HS code is a 8-digit number where the first 2 digits are the chapter, the next 2 digits are the section, and next 4 digits are of that particular item. Suppose we have to classify a part of steam turbine. So how will we classify? So first we will check the turbine, that turbine is falling in which chapter. So turbine falls in 84 chapter. Now in 84 there are so many turbine: nuclear turbine, gas turbine, and mechanical turbine, steam turbine. So then we will move to 8406. 8406 is exclusively for the steam turbine. Now we will search the code of that particular part. So when the part of steam turbine, it will classify into 8406900. So 84 is a chapter in which there are nuclear reactor, boiler, machinery and mechanical appliances. 840606 is exclusively for the steam turbine, and 9000 is for the part. So classification of the part of steam turbine will be 8406900. Now guys, after the classification of good, we will now see that what types of duty is levied on a particular good. So duty can be of various types, but we will discuss here only the 3 duties which are elementary in nature and will be attracted on all the good, irrespective of the chapter, irrespective of the country. These are the basic custom duty that is governed by the Indian Custom Act, the IGST, Integrated Goods and Service Tax, which is governed by the Indian Custom Tariff Act 1975, and another is social welfare surcharges that has came into existence after replacing the education surcharge and higher education surcharge. So guys, basic custom duty depends on the chapter. In some chapter it is 10%, for some chapter it is 7.5%, for some chapter it is 12.5%. So basic custom duty totally depends on the chapter in which it is falling. On the basis of IGST, goods has been categorized into 3 or 4 parts. Some goods attract the IGST of 5%, some goods attract the IGST of 18%, and some goods attract IGST of 28%. Social welfare surcharge is fixed and each and every good attract the social welfare surcharge at the rate of 10%. Now we will try to calculate the duty. Suppose we have imported a good with the assessable value of 100 rupees. Assessable value means cost, insurance, freight is 100 rupees. So first we calculate the basic custom duty. Basic custom duty, suppose for that particular chapter is the 10%. So basic custom duty will be 10% of assessable value, means 10 rupees. Now social welfare surcharge is fixed irrespective of the chapter of the goods, it is 10%. So 10% of basic custom duty. It is not of the goods but the basic custom duty. So it is 1 rupees. And IGST is levied on the sum of assessable value plus BCD plus social welfare tax. So on 100 rupees plus 10 rupees plus 1 rupees, IGST shall be calculated on sum of all three components and at the rate of prescribed 18%. So guys, till now after the valuation of goods, after the ascertainments of duty and all the related input, you have filed the bill of entry. Now we will see how the bill of entry will move into the system. So first the bill of entry is filed and unique identification number is generated. Then bill of entry goes to the assessment. Assessment means custom check that whether all the inputs given by importer is good, valuation is okay, or all the provision has been followed. This is called the bill of entry assessment. When the custom okay the bill of entry, it is called assessed bill of entry. When after filing an assessment, the bill of entry gets ready for the duty payment. After the duty payment, the goods are examined and then out of charge is given. Examination is not 100%, only certain sample of goods is examined and on case to case basis. Normally goods with the concessional duty are examined and goods with the merit duty, means without concession, are not examined. But it depends on the custom officer and case to case basis. And after all, the out of charge is given. Out of charge means the custom import clearance has been completed. So guys, let's see that how the bill of entry moves in a system. So this is the IceGate portal in which you can check the status of your bill of entry. You have to select location, means name of port. You have to enter the bill of entry number and a particular date, and then you will get that screen. This is bill of entry. Now there are many option. I will click on the current status because this is the more relevant. And in this current status, I have bill of entry. You can see that when the bill of entry was filed date we already know, when the bill of entry was assessed, when the out of charge. So this is out of charge. Out of charge is always done after the duty payment. So it also reflect the payment details. When you will click the payment detail, it will give you the exact picture when duty has been paid. For payment of duty, you have to go this portal. In this portal, you will select type of document, bill of entry, then you go IEC code, and when you will enter the submit, you will see the all the unpaid challans for a particular IEC code. When you for a particular challan, when you will click the pay, it will connect to your internet banking. So all duty payments are now done through the online banking. So after duty payment, the goods are out of charge, and that is the end of import procedures.